Hello, everyone. Tiffany just finished and figured I might as well go a little bit early. Oh, hi, Nikki. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me and see me. How's everyone doing? So you just make sure you tell me that you can hear me and see me. Otherwise, I won't know. Oh no, something is wrong with my computer. Somehow, okay, hold on. Hopefully, yes, hear and see you. Okay, good. I wanted to zoom in a little bit on it. Oops, not the autofocus. What am I trying to do? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I was trying to zoom in a little bit, and I'm focused myself. Okay, so there we go. That's much better. So, how's everyone doing? So yes, I am creating with the new Nomadic Soul Diary, the last Nomadic Soul Diaries mood board. I'm included everything except for don't tell Nunek and Aditi, hint, hint, but I'm doing an art journal because I don't do cards and I'm just tired of making ATCs. I'm really sorry. Don't get mad. Just kidding. But I really wanted to just make an art journal because I really want to really focus this year. I've been focusing this year on basically telling my story and encouraging you to tell your story through art. This is something that is really important for me. It's one of my biggest things this year. Starting this year, and really I'm going to focus on that next year, which is in the new year 2021. And that is to tell our stories. Like, we use art to tell our story, but what does that actually mean, and how does that actually help us? And this is basically not my new thing. I've always been telling my story through art. All of us have been telling our stories through art, but how do we make that? How do we use that for ourselves? Why are we telling our story? For example, when I do art journaling, why am I telling this story? Why am I using these colors, these textures, whether it is for self-fulfillment or to say something, or to express an emotion, a feeling. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. And I feel like my videos in the past little while have been reflecting that. And I hope that you guys are seeing that as well. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow the chat, but in saying hello to everyone, if I spend time saying hello to everyone, I will not be able to really get this message across, which is so, so important. So my mission on my channel is to help you guys actually tell your message and to actually tell your story. It doesn't mean you have to share it with the whole world, but it's telling your story so you can heal, so you can actually whatever it is that you need healing, and that is like very personal to each person. So many people email me telling me that that they are going through so many difficult things, and this is just so important, is to heal inside of us, to find a way to express ourselves through art, tell our story, and then heal inside. And that is a very difficult thing, and it's a journey, and it's something that we just need to show up for and create because of it. So this is what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to show you how I did it through this art journal. Okay, so this is right now. I don't know if Olga is there because I really wanted to show her something, but hopefully she is. Tell me if you're not there. If she's not there, tell me. So many years ago, I used to do sculpting, and I didn't realize that I was actually telling my own story. And this reminded me, her stamp, Olga's stamps that she showed before, reminded me of something that I actually made. It's this woman, which is like, I can't show Olga's stamp. I don't know if that you're here. So this is like what I made. I sculpted this many years ago, and it reminded me so much of that stamp. And I could so relate. That's why I wanted that stamp so badly. Like, this is a story on its own. I was sculpting, and while I was sculpting, this was, I guess, I don't remember exactly what was going on, but I know I wasn't in a good place. This is why I was like crouched down like this. Obviously, I sculpted myself. And this is what I did. It's not perfect, but it's me skinny me, because this is not how skinny I was or I am right now, but it's like the representation, and I really love that because of it. So thank you. I just wanted to share that with you because I felt like your stamp really spoke to me and I already got it. So if you want to get the stamp, there's a link to Nikki's store in my description area. You can always get the stamp. And there's also a link to my joggle stamps, which I'm going to be using today. Now I'm almost actually done with this art journal, and I always keep on like making the same journals in the same, the same pages in the same journal, but I decided instead of doing that, I'm going to open up a new art journal just because, you know what, I've had it sitting for a while and it's basically empty. And this is going to be the one where I'm starting blank slate, an art, like, a blank canvas, a blank page, basically, where I'm going to be creating this exact thing, this exact point of telling my story, telling something that is so important. And, I always think, I make, like, we talk about the colors that we use. That is telling a story. The fact that, Olga, for example, you don't like green, that is something. It's not only something that is, oh, ew, it's gross. But if you actually dig deep into what it is, we either resonate with a color a lot or we don't resonate. Like I resonate a lot with blues and greens, but it's something that you don't. And that is something that is in our soul that resonates with it. Like, for example, I know many people resonate with other things as well. And that's basically what I think. Now, along with that, it's not only about telling a story, but also about learning techniques. And I have a really cool, fun technique today that I want to do. And since I'm the last one, I'm really hoping that I get to, I'll finish in an hour, but this is why I wanted to be the last person, because I felt very pressured last time. And I feel like I can't get everything across if I don't like get it. So I use, okay, so yes, there you go. You don't like the mud, but it's more than that. It's more than just not liking the mud. It's also not liking the feeling that you've done something wrong or that it looks like, yucky or whatever it is. That feeling connects us to something from our past. And I've always felt that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do one thing. So the first thing I always do in my journals is I seal them. This helps not only connect one page with another, but it also obviously helps protect things. You can use any washi tape, and that's good. Yes, perdón. No sabía que habían personas que hablaban español aquí. Lo voy a traducir a español. No, perdón. Es que no estoy leyendo todo. Voy a explicar un poco. Lo que quiero hacer en mi canal es explicar todo en español. Digo, dar la historia. No, me estoy confundiendo. ¿Cómo decir tu historia por el arte? Ahora, para los que hablan español, podrán poner este video después y se los va a traducir en subtítulos después. Pero ahora, porque estamos live, Mary te lo va a traducir. Lo que pueda traducirte. Gracias, Mary, por traducir. Mary's going to translate. Nunu, if she's there. Anybody who can translate can do that. I just can't. I feel like it's going to take even longer. So once I do this, I'm going to use Gesso, and I'm using basically a credit card to use this because I want to show you the type of technique that I'm going to do. So I'm going to basically put the Gesso. This is thick Gesso. Es un Gesso muy, ¿cómo se dice? Espeso. It's a thick Gesso, and I'm going to put it not everywhere because I can put it everywhere, but I'm not going to be stamping everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be stamping onto my page, and you'll see what I mean. So I'm just going to first cover this. Y tú pueden ver lo que estoy haciendo. O sea, no todo tiene que necesitar explicación especial. Solo quería explicar que si quiero hacerlo, poder decir tu historia por el arte para poder expresarse y curarse, pero eso no es la palabra correcta. Heal is not curar. Curar es, bueno, sí es, pero no sé, no suena bien. Okay, so I'm putting it much thicker, kind of on the edges, and I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, thank you, Marissa. I'm a great motivational speaker. I know. I know that you say that. That's sorry, I should have not said like that. Thank you, but I don't always feel that way. I actually feel that I'm not. It's weird because I try two things, but it is so hard. And I can tell you right now that it's hard for me as well. Just because I say those words, I really, really try to live by them, but it doesn't always happen the way I want to. So I might be a motivational speaker to others, but I can tell you that I struggle just as much as everyone else with everything. That's why I meant by I know, because I know that I can say the things really easily, but in reality, I have a really hard time. And that I'm going to be honest with you about. I have a really hard time actually doing that. If I can desahogarse, eso es una buena, tienes razón. If you guys wouldn't mind, like press the share button. I think a lot of people could really maybe share it onto Facebook. A lot of people could really benefit from something like this, whether they're watching it live or not. They could watch it after. Por favor, compartan. Sí, para que la gente lo pueda ver después o ahora o cuando sea y venga conmigo aquí. Okay, so I am just covering this with gesso. And what I like doing is I like stamping right into the gesso. So I actually took my Punchinella stamp. It kind of looked like circle stamp, okay? And what you're going to do, and you can do this with many different stamps, the foam stamps really work the best with it. So I am going to press into it, and it actually creates an impression almost like a stencil. Now, there's another thing you can do, and this is the fun part that I did before, is I took a color. So this is the Rustic Wilderness, and I'll show you. I forgot that I did this. And what I did is I actually, let me smooth this out again because I want to stamp it again. I stamped it already with the color. So what happened was that I got the color already distressed in it. And that is really a cool texture. I have to tell you, it's really, really cool. And I'm only kind of stamping in the edges. So I just want to create some texture at the edge, but I'm not going beyond that. That's basically what I'm doing. So you can either, you can't really get this texture if you're stamping on dry. It has to be like wet gesso. And as you can see, not all of it comes on. So it really is cool. I'm going to do the other side and then I'm going to dry, okay? The only part is that I have nothing. It's the first page. So this is good. So usually when I do art journals, what I do is I actually go in both directions. So I have the, like the two corners kind of fixed together. And I don't have to do, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's basically more about, you know, like just experimenting and getting that really cool texture. It kind of looks like a stencil, and that's what I like with it. Okay, and obviously you need to clean this really well. So that's another thing I can do. Oops. Okay. I always forget the bucket. I know my friend Susan always says I should have the bucket beside me, but I always forget that. So, okay. All right. So then we have this. Now I want to add, no, I want to dry it a little bit. So now once I stamped, I mean, now you could go and stamp again, but I really want this dry. Now, you might ask me why am I actually like love texture so much? And that is something that I'm trying to think of how to explain this. When we're telling our story, when we're doing artwork, we're actually already telling a story. But what we really don't realize is that our style is our story. It's almost like everything that we put into our style, for example, loving texture or loving or using stencils or using certain colors, it really is like actually telling that story. It might seem odd. It might seem something that we can't really explain why we're using certain things, why we resonate with certain colors, why we resonate with certain textures. For example, circles. Collectively, so many people resonate with circles. Circles are like, are a symbol of infinity, of closure, of wholeness. And sometimes that's something that we actually need in our lives. And the fact that we are using circles, and why I tend to use a lot of circles, is because I really feel all the time that I need that wholeness, that I need to close those circles of whether they are emotional circles or something that has happened to me physically, whatever it is, I want to close those circles. And so I use them, and I include them a lot in my artwork, in my stamps, in my designs, and in many different things. Then there is the meaning behind each thing. So so Olga resonates with circles because it's a shape like a cookie, and she loves cookies. I actually don't love cookies, for example. So it makes exact sense. Like, if that is what you resonate, if you love something like sweets or cookies so much, and so that's what you see, then that's amazing. Like, that's something that I just feel like, let's tell our story. Let's do that. I'm going to take some of the speckled egg distress stain, and I'm just going to add a little bit because, truthfully, this was one of the colors in the how do you call this? In the mood board. But it also is something that I really resonated with. This color is one of my favorites. And what I do is, why do I add water? Yes, you're right. The technique asks for water. But what water does, it actually dilutes everything. It actually kind of blends everything and makes everything better. If you think about water and what it represents in our bodies, and how we're 70% of our bodies are made out of water, it makes total sense. And oh, there, Tiffany. I think that is why we're such good friends, because I also resonate with butterflies a lot. Like, I resonate with butterflies so much because, they're kind of hidden at the beginning. They're coming from something that might be like ugly, kind of like a cocoon, or a caterpillar, but they become something so beautiful. That transformation is something that is really meaningful. So yes, I use a lot of butterflies and trees. If you go with what I connect with more is with trees. So that's basically what it is. I connect with trees because of the fact that they're so grounded. And I've made many videos about that. You can go back. I feel bad that I'm not translating. But thank you, Mari, for translating. It's really, really important it's hard for me to say it in both. Nuneka is really good at saying it in both. I'm going to add a little bit more green. I really feel like some of the things, like, for example, Olga, like, you resonate a lot with wings. I mean, a lot of us do resonate with wings, but that's actually gives us a thing. I know we don't need to constantly be thinking, what are we feeling and what is going on? And that's not my intent with this situation. What my intent is to make you realize that what you're doing is already, every time you create something, or every time you cannot create, use art for that. Use art to tell your story. Try to tell your story through hay que utilizar el arte para decir nuestra historia, pero es mucho más que solo eso. Es también para poder no solo desahogarnos, pero es algo que nos podemos conectar con eso. Okay. We're all weird. I don't know. I'm not saying. Okay, I'm reading the chat. I cannot follow the chat at the same time. I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to do this. So although this dark green wasn't in the mood board, when I actually water it down, it becomes kind of like that pale green that I saw. And I know this is not the color you love, but this is why I'm watering it down so much, Olga, just for you. So there is actually there is color theory, not in the sense of what we think of color theory in terms of la teoría de color. No es lo que me refiero de lo que hacen los artistas. I'm not talking about color theory in terms of artists. I'm talking about color theory in terms of emotional color theory. And they say that certain colors resonate with certain people and certain emotions. So that's why we tend to use certain things in certain colors for certain things. utilizamos colores diferentes dependiendo de lo que nos, de lo que sentimos. So for example, and this is like, oh, sorry, I'm going to tell you that I'm using Lindy's Gang Stormy Sky Magicals Flat. Okay, I love this one. So what we do is that we tend to gravitate towards certain colors. So for example, I say I gravitate towards blues and greens. Okay. And certain times of the year I don't. I actually love to use how do you call this? Like oranges, and and you will see me using them in different things. But for example, like there's people that really love, for example, there's one color I cannot use as much as that is pink. I have a hard time with it. And maybe that's why Nikki and I resonate so much also, because I have a hard time with pink. It's not that I don't love pink. It's just, I don't know, it's not something that I gravitate towards. And I think it has to do with either experiences from our past or emotional things that we feel. And whatever that is, we tend to kind of gravitate towards other things. And this is what I feel like we're all unique in our own way, no matter what colors we choose to use, okay, or what textures we choose to use. We are all unique in a certain way. Even the products that we make them for a reason. Why Olga loves certain designs, or why Nuneka made certain stencils. Sometimes we might not even think that that's what it is, but it is actually something that that we tend to think about. Even for myself, when I created my stamps, I actually really thought about each single one of them. I really wanted something that could really be meaningful, whether it is something from my past or something else. So does that make sense? Like I mean, I'm talking too much. Let's just be quiet a little bit. I just, you know what, this one, these pages are a little bit thinner than what I thought. They're not the same as the mixed media one. I didn't realize that. Oh well. Good thing I put gesso. Some of it is still wet. So this didn't dry that well. I'm putting too much. Okay, so I don't think I put this much in the other one, but I want to kind of finish the blue. This blue gives like such a nice color. Let me turn this around a little bit. So, so true. Oh, I know, I'm not going to shush myself. I just want to see what Sarah said. Sarah, what did you say? Yes, exactly. So that's why I actually also have a hard time parting from things. That's why I don't sell a lot of them, because first of all, nobody will appreciate our art more than we do. Like we could like, you know, I mean, all of you are super appreciative of I mean, we're all appreciative of each other's art in the general sense, but nobody will be more appreciative. It's like you connected. You told that story through whatever you were creating, whether you were using gears, you're using a person, a circles, whatever it is, certain colors, you're telling that story. I remember many years ago, Olga, that I really wanted that piece of yours, which you still am supposed to make me one, with the lady I totally connected to that lady. I thought it was the most amazing thing, and you couldn't part from it. And I understand, because you connected to something there, whether you realized it or not. Like, I find that the only time I can connect, like recently Terry bought one of my pieces, and actually Elaine bought one of my pieces many years ago too. But recently Terry bought one of my pieces, and it was something that I really loved. But because it's been so many years since I've done it, I think I've already had released those emotions from that one. So I really wasn't, not that I wasn't connected, but I could actually let it go. I could let go of that feeling. So yeah. So, oh, Tiffany, okay. Bye, have fun, Tiffany. Okay, now I'm going to use some of the gold. This is the glitzy gold. And while it's still wet, I want to add a little bit of it onto it, because then I can actually mix it all in. And gold is one of the things that was in the mood board. So I want to make sure that is there. And I'm being very careful because I realized that my gesso got very soaked. I think when I did this page before, I actually used I did it twice. I mean, sorry, I let it dry in between a lot, but I don't think I have the time to do that now. So that's why. It can be fun. Okay. Oh, Keren, next time we go live with me on my channel and we will have a combo about all those stuff. At most things, I have to say, are not your channel friendly, and a lot of my opinions are opposite. Your opinions are opposite, I know, so we can do that. Yeah. Because Olga, our opinions are our opinions. Like this is why we're friends, because each one is allowed to have their own opinions on things. And like even what we see of each other is different, right? And we tend to kind of gravitate towards things, but it doesn't mean that we cannot, like we still get along, we're still good friends, because you know what? Even if we're opposite, we still have the same kind of goal in mind, which is our community, and you still tell amazing stories, whether you want to admit it or not. Oh, I see. No, but you're right, Olga, but that is still part of the thing. The reason why you didn't sell that one is because you didn't know how much to charge, but that is still part of your story, because we as artists would tend to not value ourselves enough, because what you really want to, let's say, charge for that is something completely different than what we're actually worth, like what is our worth? What is somebody like that, that our worth is something that is really hard to put in monetary, in a monetary piece. Okay, this is why so many of us don't share our art, and this is where I'm trying to change. And this is where we tend to kind of you know what I mean? It's not that we're deferring, we're just not, how do we call this? We're not kind of on the same page in that sense, because we tend to not realize, like, that's exactly it. Like, we don't know our self-worth, if that makes sense. Okay, that I spoke enough about that part. Sí, Lidia, si no le pones gesso, la página se puede, o sea, lo que pasa es que esta página es un poco fina y se moja mucho. Entonces, cuando está muy fina, no protege la página. Aunque se está yendo por aquí, no importa, porque la página no se rompe. El yeso es como protegerlo y también para ponerle como una base. El yeso es muy importante para eso. She was just asking about how important this gesso is and what happens if you don't put it on. And I said the gesso is really important because we tend to, like, there's been times where I don't put gesso. Hay veces que no le pongo gesso, pero estas páginas eran muy finas. These are very thin pages. Okay, gonna put this aside for a second. Now, because my journaling art pages are so, our journals are so thick. Sorry, my pages are so thick. I tend to take some pages out of my journal. Yeah. Oh, you don't get attached. But Olga, it doesn't mean that you don't get attached to the pieces, but I'm saying that it creates an emotional connection. If it's not, you're telling whatever story it is, whether it's like a wild story or like craziness or weirdness, whatever it is that your story is, like, other people connect to that. That is what art is. So I understand you don't understand because you don't feel it that way. But I tend to argue with you, Olga, that I think you feel more than you let on to say. You just don't share it. There's a difference. Anyways, this is one of my pages from my journal. And sorry, I'm like trying to find. Lidia, tengo una receta en mi canal de cómo hacer yeso si no consigues, ¿ok? Vaya a mi canal y busca cómo hacer yeso en inglés, how to make gesso. Mari, tal vez le puedes ayudar en eso. Okay, so, okay, going back. So that's what I want to do, is that I actually went and stamped some, I used the same technique to stamp the circles, okay? Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to do the circles. Voy a hacer lo mismo para hacer los círculos. Okay, so I'm going to put a thick layer of gesso. And I'm for sure have a feeling I'm going to be going over because I'm talking too much. Olga, I think there's so many emotions in that little body of yours, but you just don't realize it because of that, because of many different reasons. Everybody has emotions, just saying. I've always been this way, Olga. You're scared to talk to me? No, don't be scared. I love talking to you, actually. You make me always laugh. You have something in you that you make people laugh. Every person resonates with another person because of it. now she's selling your things. Okay. So I'm just applying the gesso the same way I did before. You can use like a palette knife or whatever it is. And hold on. Okay. So I'm doing the same thing. I don't know if I have enough space. If I miss anybody's questions, let me know. So I'm going to take these 2 circles that I used. Hold on, they're a little bit wet. Oops, they're a little bit wet because I was cleaning them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press into it to make this circle. Cool, huh? And again. Okay, there we go. There's that one. The nice thing about these that you can still clean them even though you left stuff on them. Still comes off. Okay, this is the one that everybody thinks looks like an ornament. And I think I designed circles on purpose this year. Just because I really wanted, oh, look at that. It came with color. Oh, well. There's probably color from before on it. It's from before I washed it. Okay, well, we have residues, the same as like in a plate, right? We kind of like tend to have these. Did not mean to do that, but still looks nice. Okay, so the other thing that I did is because one of the things that you needed is to have microbeads. So what I did is I took a little spoon, and because Nuneka and Aditi's mood board said that we need to put some microbeads. So, okay, I follow the rules, except for the art journal page. I know I didn't follow those rules, but yeah, this technique is really cool, Terry. Okay, so I'm going to use some microbeads, and what I did, because the gesso is still wet, what did I just do with the spoon? Oh, there it is. The gesso is still wet. The microbeads kind of stuck to it. Now, you can do the same technique with the gel medium. So this, if you're going to do this, it will for sure get stuck to it. But it's still, the gesso still has some kind of like a binding mechanism to it. So it still like worked, and that was cool. And what I did is I also made these, like, I just dumped like some of these in the thing and created these like circles of just microbeads. So I just like kind of use it like that. These are the mini microbeads from Finnabair. And need to make another circle. Oh, just here. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's cool. So what else did I do here? Oh yeah, I dried. I wanted the microbeads to be dried enough, so while I dry, I can read the messages. And let's dry the gesso. Lo que puse, le puse unos poquitos de valores, no, beads, no sé, pequeñitos para que se peguen, se van a pegar al yeso. Pero si no, le puedes poner, si no se pega al yeso, le puedes poner gel o pega. Olga, yeah, like Olga didn't send me an ATC either, so there we go. Olga's saying that she hasn't sent ATC to everyone. We're just gonna poke you all day long. Oh, Susan, thank you so much. I know Susan in person, like actually, well, Tiffany too, but I know Susan, she lives like literally 20 minutes from me. So we're good friends. So there we go. So that's where. What else? So what are your favorites? So that's one of the things. So what do you guys connect to the most? Like I saw Dragonfly come up there. Like I know Nuneka comes next to dragonflies and owls, right? Like every person kind of connects, and it doesn't have to be a thing. It could be a feeling like kindness, gratefulness. It could be like something else, a certain color. I'm just curious what you guys connect to. Like, is it something? Is it something else? Like, I'm just really wondering what you guys connect to the most. Just wondering. Skulls, okay, but yes, Olga, that is a perfect example. You connect with skulls and with black and with homes, okay, like little houses, right? But don't you think that, I mean, not that you have to think about the meaning behind it, but I truly believe there's a meaning behind it. It's something that it makes you feel. Whatever it is that makes you feel, that you can express yourself through your art, that is what I'm talking about. And that's like something so cool. I really find that. The weed, I mean, yeah, I think like this is why I like your work so much also because of that. Because of the butterflies. I love that. Susan connects to the dances and swirls. Um, you also like skulls and dark colors. Nikki, that's no wonder why you connect with Olga so much. Interesting. You guys see? Like truly, you guys see? Oh, here we go. Starting the texting has started. Yes, you can come in. Yes, you can come in. Shh, I'm on live. Hello. Say hello to everyone. Hi. Okay, my daughter just came in and. I'm saying but Jen. What? Okay, but. Yeah. I brought in that horse. Okay, but this is not so important. So not important. Okay, I love you, but not so important right this second to show me what horse she rode today. She came to tell me what horse she was riding today. So my daughter connects to horses. Huge connection to horses. That is something that she connects the most. Everybody, and yes, everybody has a dark side. Like I have a dark side, and when I do, it's funny because when I do, I tend to create a lot. When I'm in a hole or like when I'm not feeling well, I tend to create a lot with the reds and yellows and oranges. So when you see my periods, kind of like like the Picasso thing, not from me, but how he has like the blue period, the dark period, this period. That's me. Like sometimes I love blues and greens, and sometimes I want to go with oranges, and yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so this is now a little bit drier, so I'm going to start now with the color. I'm going to use similar colors. So I'm going to use my green. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot. Well, this actually doesn't really matter. I'm going to use the green first. Clove, cover your eyes. Olga, cover your eyes. So, yeah, I love everything too. Actually, the funny thing, Olga, is that I don't like skulls. I don't actually, or Nikki, yeah, Nikki likes skulls too. I don't resonate with skulls, but I still, it's not that I don't like them. It's like the meaning of them is what scares me, because like that is like I associate it obviously with death, but at the same time a lot of people don't, and I have a hard time with that. So I'm gonna use some of this to just blend it. Now it doesn't really matter if I go out of the lines, because I'm going to be cutting these circles. No importa si salgo de las líneas. Okay, so I love these. I really feel that whatever we connect with is something that is part of us. And we need to kind of like, it doesn't mean that you have to analyze it, Olga. I know that's something that people don't like to do. You don't have to analyze it, but it's just have to realize it. What you have to realize, and this is what's important, is that if you're, let's say, stuck and not knowing what to create with, and you know that butterflies make you feel better, then go ahead and go. And the first thing you should gravitate towards is using butterflies. So you should know yourself. What you're learning is how to tell your story and how to know yourself enough that when you're stuck, because we're all get stuck. There's no such person. There's not one person that doesn't get stuck. But when we get stuck, we know that by connecting to by using stuff that we connect to, whether it is skulls, whether it is butterflies, whether it is certain colors, we'll be able to kind of tell our story, kind of create the art that we need to create to heal ourselves. Yeah, there's the good message. Okay, so that is basically what I feel like is what I'm trying to say. If that makes sense at all, it's exactly that when we are in a place where we cannot create, when we feel down, when we feel that it is just so difficult, that life is difficult, because let's face it, there's no way that somebody's going to tell me now that life is not difficult. Every person's life is difficult, but it's just, how do we find tools to make it, to help us cope, to help us heal? Because not everything is as easy as we think. And it's not easy. I'm telling you right now, even though I use my art all the time to help me heal, I still struggle a lot. I still struggle a lot as an artist. I still struggle the same as everyone else to have my self-worth, to really like this is why I don't sell my pieces, because exactly that same reason. I don't know how much to put them, what to place them for. Some people might know, or might me putting it too low, right? Like, I don't know if I'm putting it too low, too high. And I don't want to go into those feelings of not knowing, like, what I feel is maybe my self-worth might not be what others feel, that, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? And, I have the membership, and a few of you I know are members of my channel. But one of the things that I want to really focus with my members, because I know we have more of these lives one-on-one, is that I really want to help you guys, really want to focus on this, on actually telling our stories, to kind of start developing a habit to tell our stories through art, and to be able to connect with our art and to heal ourselves. And this is something that it's much easier to do in a smaller setting. So if you want to join my membership, that's something that I will definitely focus much more in my members, with my members. And I will do, like I do, for example, is $5. I think $5 a month is one free video, one video a month, and $10 is for 2 videos. So if you want to join, there's a link there. I mean, Nikki, you can probably share it, or somebody, whoever's there. It's underneath my description. Lo que quería decir es que lo que quiero enfocarme es por mis miembros. Quiero ayudarles más a crear cosas uno al uno, como decir, en un círculo más pequeño, para que aprendan cómo decir la historia por el arte. Y eso es lo que me voy a enfocar en varias de las cosas que voy a hacer con ellos. The thing also I want to say, I don't know if you guys hear the drilling. I'm sorry, my husband is trying to fix something, and there's a lot of drilling. There is Susan. Thank you, Susan, for sharing that. Yeah. So one of the things that I feel, how do you call this? One of the things that I feel I will still do in my channel, the way I always said, is that I'm still going to share tools on how to do that. And you've seen for the past few months, I've been sharing tools on how to tell your story, how to connect to your art. But in behind the scenes, I really want to go into more in-depth like what you see right now, but even more, because I really feel that it's really hard to do this in a 10-minute video. Es muy difícil explicar cómo hacerlo en 10 minutos. So in 10 minutes, I want to kind of give you the tools to do these things, but in the longer videos, because they're usually an hour long or more, I can help you learn how to do it more specifically. So yes. So there we go. So this is what I was trying to explain. I'm going to add a little bit of gold as well, because you can't go without gold. It's like the most beautiful thing. And yeah. Do you guys hear the drilling? I don't know if you guys can hear the drilling. Oh my God. So, okay, there we go. So now I'm going to just dry everything. So I need to dry these circles so I can add them to the page. Oh. Okay, well, you can't hear me? Is that something we've lost? I hope not. Okay, so I'm going to dry these so I can cut them out. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So now I can read a little bit the nonsense that you guys are talking. Not nonsense, I know. That nonsense that Olga and and Nikki are arguing about. Oh, witch's color. Interesting. Yeah, Olga. That's something that I totally see Olga as like, not a witch, not in a bad sense, but Olga, I kind of see you as this like totally, like, I'm surprised you actually don't like green, because it's totally like I can see you like Wicca, liking Wicca and those kind of things. Oh, we don't hear the drilling. Okay, thank you. No, there's no bad meaning. I feel like I was probably a witch in a past life. Hopefully I wasn't burnt at the stake or anything like that. But I feel that. It's funny. I really feel that I can see you, that you, maybe we were all witches, and all of us here, all the artists were witches in a past life. So maybe that's where we connect. You can really see, as you can see, the texture on this. It's cool, right? And I can, as I said, it doesn't really matter if it drips, because I'm just cutting it out. Is Naama on right now? It's late for her, right? Is she in Israel? Her name is so beautiful. Do you guys know what Naama means? Naama means something like niceness, like kindness. I want to say like, it's a really nice name. Hard to explain. Okay, can you guys not talk about things that could that are like, I don't know who this Jeffrey person is, but let's not talk about him. Let's talk about some nice things. Okay, so I'm going to cut the circles. They cut so nicely because of the gesso. So yeah. Okay, so there is one circle. Okay, I want to cut the other circle. So these pages that I pulled out of the book can help to kind of create more stuff with it. So they don't go to waste, you know what I mean? You can use them, because if your pages are really thick, you're gonna need these. You're gonna need to get some pages out of them. Just make sure that when you're careful with the binding. Okay. So I like these Tim Holtz scissors, because they don't get sticky after. Okay. So sweetness, sorry, thank you, sweetness. You're right, niceness, sweetness. That's exactly what I was trying to get at. You're right, nama means sweetness. Okay, there's that. This is garbage. Let's cut the other circle. If you don't, you can always use a lid to kind of draw around it. So, okay, there's the other circle with the beads. And, okay, let's go to the next person, the next ones. Am I gonna finish on time? Oh, I don't know, maybe. Problem with mixed media is that everything takes so long to dry. But for example, I try to think also why I chose mixed media and art journaling. I mean, art journaling tells my story, which I never realized until recently that that's basically what it is. Why I love art journaling so much, because it is like journaling. Journaling tells stories, right? Any type of journaling. And when you, let's see, when we were kids and we used to write like journals, like diaries, it was telling our story. It was telling what had happened. He was telling our story, how we felt about things. I never did that because I couldn't connect to that. But when I started doing art journaling, I exactly connected to that. I started connecting to the stories that I was telling through my art. Sorry, I meant to say. But there's people that make the most beautiful cards and they're really telling those stories. And then not only that, they're gifting those stories to other people, which I think is brilliant. Like I wish I'd like to make cards. Like realistically, I wish I like to make cards. I just find them too finicky. So that's why. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice, Terry, that you made wreaths for the house. Okay. Okay, so I finished cutting. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the journal. And let's start. First, I'm going to pick my favorite one. So that goes in the center. So I think it's this one. Okay, hold on. I'm still very, very wet here, so I need to dry. Yeah, Nama means pleasant and kind and nice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's in a Hebrew name, and that's why I know it, because I've had friends with that name before. Not this girl specifically, but a lot of the names in Hebrew have a name, have a meaning. Okay, I need to dry it. The problem with thick gesso is that it becomes very, very hard to dry. It takes a long time to dry. Sí, parece un planeta. She's saying it looks like a planet. It is. I think I made a planet thing before. I know. It's kind of like, I could put it this way and then it would really look like a planet. I think Graciela, when she was here last time, she said that. Okay. So let's continue. Let's put some more of these. So what I did is actually cut some of these. Okay. So I'm going to start putting them in certain places. Let's see here. And, oh, they're so wet. So annoying. This one is a bit more dry. Okay, where else can it go? And maybe lower this one a bit. Maybe here. And Yeah, that's good. I have this little one here, one from before. Let me see. Does this look balanced? Okay, I need the little ones. Where are they? Yeah, I know it's a common name in Israel. Peculiaris, are you from Israel too? Or are you Nama? I'm just I didn't realize that you were Nama. Okay. My name in Hebrew means a ray of light. And my mom, his name is Orly, and she is basically light, my light. So I didn't realize. Oh, thank you, Terry, so much. Thank you. Okay, so I feel like something is not balanced here. I feel like maybe I need to put another full circle this time. Might be different. Okay. It feels like it's like too busy, maybe. Wait, maybe bring this one here. There's that. Okay. Okay, maybe like that. And this one, maybe like this. Okay, so there, now I think it's more balanced. I have to play with it sometimes. That's what happens. Okay, so now I'm going to dry a little bit more so I can look at the chat. Oh, actually, no, I don't need to dry. I can start gluing. I'm going to just glue this a little bit and then dry, okay? Buenas noches, Lydia. Okay, so I'm using my fingers as always. I don't know why I always tend to use my fingers. I find it the easiest. Okay, so I'm just using some soft gel and just gluing the circles. Circles give me, like, I love circles. They give me so much. They make me feel so good when I use them. So that's, I think, one of the main reasons why I tend to use them so much. Oh, okay, yeah. So it makes sense, Sarah. The name rings the same. Where did I have this one here? I feel everything is so wet. I can't seem to be putting it dry. Okay. So what I'm going to do is first, once I'm done gluing, I'm going to dry really well. And of course, oh, only 5 minutes. I don't think I have enough time. I mean, meaning I'm going to take over a little bit, the next little bit. If you guys want to stay with me, I'm happy if you guys stay with me. Somebody approved for Lena's thing. Show it. I don't know what she wrote, but something she wrote and I can't seem to see it. Oh, what I did also is I put some gel on the beads. I just worried that it was going to start like going everywhere for me. Ah, the beads are wet still. Is there one I haven't glued? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, I'm using like all my fingers. Okay, let's dry a little bit. Oh, take some crystal time, Cindy. That's a good one. Yeah, well, no, I'm not taking that crystal time, but I am going to take a little bit longer because I really want to add some shading to this. But everything is so wet that I can't seem to like do anything with it. It's too wet. Thank you so much. So it is something that I want to like dry a little bit more because it's just too much. Oh, Gabby, you know what will happen to an art journal? What will happen to any of our things? So an art journal, I actually go back a lot and look at my art journals. They basically take less space than all my artwork and they sit in a cabinet, but every once in a while I take it out and I look through it to look at my artwork. It's a good place to have everything together and look at your artwork. And that's what I do. It's basically, I tend to, so for example, I want to show you this journal, this original one that I was showing you, it's basically almost finished. Let me just, I'll move this for a second to show you what I mean. Okay, that's a really good question. So this journal is almost finished. I started it. I have to make a cover. I haven't yet. And I had to take pages out of it. Okay, but what I did is like I started and I actually remember every time of what I created. So in this one, I actually glued a lot of words everywhere. And then I added paste on top and started uncovering the words. So it's the meaning and it's the meaning and the feelings behind them. Like I remember each one of my pages that I made and why I made it and how they made me feel and what techniques. So the art journal is something that you can also practice techniques. So let's say, for example, I'll show you here. There's a page. For example, I practiced some things here with this. It's like a personal picture book, yes, but you can also test things. So for example, let's say you want to make a really big canvas, but you don't know how something is going to react with another thing. So you can actually test and see how well things go. Like for example, how the colors will go together. So you don't messing up your canvas, you can do it in a journal and something like this. So even if you mess up, it's not a big deal. This is something personal that is just yours. This, for example, but you can also do it for emotional reasons. This, for example, it was the day that one of my friends passed away, and it was literally how I felt. I started splattering paint all over. Now, maybe the emotional connection, I was able to release what I was feeling into this, and then now when I look at it, it just makes me remember her. But that's still, I don't feel the pain that I felt when I was creating it. You see, I'm just testing things in this. It's not always about this. It's about giving me, also it helps with giving me emotional courage and to kind of like think of what I want in life. Okay, so this is Ora Bella Luna. It's just basically like kind of like makes me kind of feel, and this is one that I just did with the members. It's about choose to be. In this one, I didn't even use basically any color, just one marker. This was like monoprinted pieces that I used, and I did that. You can get inspired by a song and kind of like where that song has made you feel. All these are available on my channel. Okay, it's not like, okay. So there is another one. So it's just something that makes you feel a certain way. It makes you feel, whether it is releasing your emotions, but every time I look at it, it makes me feel good. It's art in a book, basically. And I have many different types of journals. There's lots of them that I have. I kind of like tend to collect journals. So yeah. So Gabby, it's not about testing materials to have a list. You could write. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll take the pages and they'll test the materials and write right beside it or behind what each thing is. So you could use just one journal to use just for testing materials and see how formulas, I call it formulas, to testing how certain formulas work with each other. And you could do that by, let's say you want to create, as I said, a canvas, but you don't want to ruin a canvas not knowing if something will work well with another. So what you do is that you test it in your art journal. So you don't have to like specifically have it in order, if that makes sense. Not always do the colors say something about the season. Yeah, for some people it does, and that affects everyone as well. But for me, certain colors speak to me depending on how I feel. Like when I feel calm and and like good. Like I tend to use a lot of blues and greens, but when I feel very like stressed, I tend to use a lot of reds and oranges. So they help me heal. So it all depends. It just all depends on how things make you feel. Every person is different, and that's the beauty of art, that every person is basically different. Okay, so let me go back now. Hold on, I'm trying to find. Okay, so I want to use some of the blue again because I want to add some shading underneath. Okay, so I'm using a wet paintbrush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of add darkness behind the circles. Quiero agregarle un poco de sombra por detrás. So I'm just making a line, being careful here because some things are still white. And then, oh, thank you, Johanna. Thank you so much. Okay, so there we go. So what I do is I'm just going to spray a little bit and let it run and let it sit like that. Not going to do much about it. If it goes in a place where I don't want it to go, I can wipe it. Puedo limpiarlo si va a un lugar donde no me gusta. Pero así me gusta. I like it that it kind of spreads and kind of goes everywhere. And I can use some of the things to kind of spread around. I always have a wipe right beside me too, just in case. So yeah, and as you see, I have a baby wipe. I can do this. Okay, there we go. And let's put it over here. Let's wet this first. You can always wet things first, so that way it's a good thing I didn't go before Tiffany, because I would have totally needed extra time. It's funny because she always was the one that needed the extra time, but I think now I'm the one who needs the extra time. Okay. A lot of people like doing art journaling in different styles. That's also, it's how to develop your style. There's people that use a lot of collage to do art journaling, and that's really cool as well. You'll find bullet journaling, you'll find junk journaling. There's so many different types of art journaling too, so you can find whatever works for you, Ooh, I love the magicals and how they react. Okay. There we go. Hi, Ingrid. So, okay. Oh, I love how they go through things. Some of the stuff is wet. I missed what, I don't know. Okay, hold on. So the water is so important. I love water in projects. I think people don't realize how much water helps things, especially, and you can do all this with watercolors. You don't have to do it with the magicals. You can do it with sprays. It depends on what you do. So okay, cool. I love all the drips. Okay, so I just want to add a little bit more darkness here. If you create anything inspired by this, please, if you guys have my stamps, can you please share what you create on Instagram for sure, but can you share it in my group on Facebook? I really would like to see what people are making. I'll share it for sure. But if you get inspired and create anything with what I made today, I would love for you to also share it in my group. If you haven't joined my group, please do. It's listed in the description area. My Facebook group, you're all welcome to join it. I would love to see you there. Okay, so I think I've done the things, and I love how it's dripping, even though it's all wet. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of splatters. Hold on, where did it go? Okay, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to make a little bit of a concoction here with some. Yeah, it is a delusions journal, Ingrid. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit of gold here to make some splatters. Yeah, please, you're all welcome to join my Facebook group. I would love for you to be there. And let's make some splatters. Yeah, gold is the best. I don't think I made splatters in the other one. I could have not. I made it a lot of gold I added, but I didn't do any splatters. Let's add some splatters. Oh no, I did do splatters of gold in the other one, but not enough, but it's okay. Okay, I am going to dry this, and then I just want to add the words, okay? So one sec. Just a little bit, so it's not like completely. Oh no, sorry, there's 2 steps still that I have to do. Forgot. 2 more things. So, Gabby, that's exactly what I try to teach, that it's okay not to know what your end result will be, what the destination is. The most important for us is to connect to the process, to the journey of what we're doing. If we're always focused on what is going to be, we're never going to be able to come out of our shell, come out of the box, come out of something, you know, and create just for us and not be so stressed about it. We want to be able to express ourselves. And that is so important. And this is why art journaling for me is so good, because let's say you didn't like what you created. Let's say you didn't like what you created. Let's say you tried this and it just came out like, in your opinion, even though it's probably not, maybe they will come out like not good. All you have to do is like literally you just turn the page and start a new one. You have so many blank pages to start and continue doing art and trying it, because this is what art is about. It's about expressing ourselves, and this is what it's so important. One of the things that I did is I added a little bit of stamping. I have this stamp from Holtz, and I just took a little bit of archival ink and I just stamped. And when I like holding the stamps like this way. Sorry, let me go this way. I like holding the stamps this way, so that way I don't actually get the full the full image of it, because I don't want to get the full image of what I'm stamping. I want to be able to get like parts of it, so it looks like it's distressed. It looks like it's part of the background, if that makes sense. Okay. And if you screw up, oh, look like what I did here. I just added gesso onto my thing. It's just my gesso is still wet. This is the problem, or what's happening with my stamp, with my things. Hold on, let me just wipe this. Is that you're just going to wipe it. I know this is not for stamp. For those that are like card makers, probably think like, oh my God, what did you just do? But it is what it is. I am a mixed media artist, not a stamper or a card maker. So if I end up with gesso in my ink, it is this. I've done it so many times. My ink still works. I just refill it and that's it. Let me do, oh, this is too wet to do. I'm going to do some over here. I can't seem to get it done over here. It's too wet. This is like literally like wet, wet, wet. And yeah, it's like a galaxy from far, far away. What I think it's like the colors, these are my favorite colors, right? So I tend to resonate with these a lot. But this is what I said. Like you see, like you can barely see the green that I originally put in, but it's still there and gives it that really nice thing. Oh, here we go. I did it again. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is the thing. Oh, is that Tim's stamp? Yeah, it's in the description. It's one of the first things I listed. I'm like, I just actually got this one not long ago. It's a really cool stamp. Yeah, everything that I used today is in link in the description, or almost everything. If I forgot something, just message me. I will tell you what it is. Yeah, okay. The only place I'm not stamping is over here. And if you made a mistake, and let's say you don't like and you stamp something that is like, yo, and it looks horrible and you screwed up or whatever it is, you can just take a little bit of gesso, okay? And even using your finger or like even with a paintbrush, and you can just like delete it. Control Alt Delete. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So now the most important part is to actually, now there's a part where you can journal, and there's a couple of things that people do when they journal. They actually they either journal and writing on top. Sometimes people journal underneath and then gesso the whole thing, or you can just actually just write something, you know, like kind of like a message. And this is what I like doing. I already picked, this is from Tim Holtz, like stickers, okay? I just picked them already, so I didn't want to spend hours looking for them. So that's why. So tell your story through art, which is my new emblem. Through art. Okay, there we go. I just have to, I use a little bit of gel to glue these, okay? Just because I've taken them out of the, oh, oops, there's the art. Oh, it's upside down. So what I like is the point of it, everything, all the tools that we have, the paintbrushes and the stamps and the glues and the gesso and basically everything that we have is able to, it helps us to tell our story. And that is what, I mean, I know I said it at the beginning, but this is exactly it. It's like as if like everything that we express, everything that we feel can help us not only connect with our art, but also like help us heal, to kind of like find our story, find and tell our story through art. And that is something so valuable, because when you start recognizing how to tell your own story, you will realize that your story is basically your style, and your style reflects who you are. And you'll be able to like connect so much and feel so much more confident and proud of your work. Does that make sense? Okay. Sorry, I'm not even looking to see if you guys like said yes, no, or responded to that. My messy fingers. Thank you. So my fingers are like the most used tool. And think about even if the fact that I use my fingers so much, or we use our fingers so much in our art, how much like it's basically we're connecting directly with our art. Like I'm actually almost transferring the energy that I have in my fingers and how I'm able to create with them into my art. It's something like, I just find something spectacular. Maybe it's a little bit of like esoteric, but you know what? It's something that I find that not many people can do. It's like a musician with their music. It's like that. A musician, a sculptor, a shoemaker. To be cured, you have to be sick first. Yeah, interesting. I've never met anybody who is not ill, and I don't mean by ill like having an illness, but there is like, it's not an illness, but to healing from the things that happen to you in life. Like everybody, I have not met anyone, unless it's just you, and then you would be the first person. But everybody that that I've ever met has something that they want healing in their life, whether it is their emotions, whether it is like just a way to have more confidence. That's still a part of healing. That's still a part of something that we want. um maybe there is people that don't feel like anything in life is that they have a perfect life, but I've never met that person before. So it is interesting. uh it's interesting because like healing is just personal. It's like it's what everybody, like obviously it's not going to heal me from a wound. If I cut myself, art is not going to heal that. Our body has to do that. But for me, for my body to be strong, to be able to heal from what I'm going through, whether or things that happen to me that I cannot control, because I cannot control what happens to me. You just get over it. But how do you get over something, right? So like you don't feel like you need to heal, but getting over it is healing, is moving on, is healing. So it's kind of like I feel like I use my art to heal. And I guess maybe that is not the right word. Maybe healing is not the right word, because like for me, I use the art to help me get over things, to help me move on. um and I feel like the strength that comes from what I get from my art is something that many people don't have. Like a lot of people that don't have art in their life, and that is not only creating art, but also like let's say some people, like Cindy said, use music to heal. Every person uses something to heal, to let things go, or to release, or to just Mhm. I understand, Gabby. That is part of it as well. So it's either internalizing it or healing. So yeah, I guess you can heal by internalizing, but maybe using your art to actually help yourself in not internalize everything. The thickness that we put around us. Yeah, I've done that. I've internalized things in my past, and that didn't do too well for me. I actually got physically sick from internalizing things that I went through. Olga, not many people like you can do that. Can actually just um, can actually like get over things so quickly. Um, Most people that I know are not able to, and it depends on how long it takes us to get over things. Obviously, not every person is like is the same. Yeah, I guess you're right, Michelle. Not everybody is like, not everybody wants to. Oh, I understand. Interesting perspective. I'm glad that you guys are giving me your perspective on things. I understand, Michelle. Like sometimes we like that's maybe too deep, I guess, for people to really understand that. And I just feel maybe it's just me. I feel like I am healing through art, but maybe it's something that other people don't want, and every person kind of looks at it in a different way. Yeah, it might help the process, I guess. It's just the wording, not a process. Okay, yeah, I guess so. Every person has a different word for healing, right? Like I think, like I like the word relax. Yeah, but even that, Mary, I feel like it helps me heal the soul. But as I said, I don't want to put people's words into people's mouths, because that's what I feel and how it helps me. It might, like Michelle said, it might not. That's not the reason maybe why she creates. Or maybe she creates just, or like Gabby said, she just wants to create to relax. This is a huge philosophical thing, I guess. I guess, and I'm done. So it's kind of like a both ways. So yeah, I mean, like maybe I have to think about the wording of what I want to say, but telling our stories through art is definitely something that I want to really emphasize, and maybe the people that might follow and might really, like might be part of my community are the people that, you know, like do feel that way, because we each follow other people because of that reason, right? So Gabby, it's up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess Ingrid, you've put it. Art reflects our lives and our journey, and you guys have the choice, of course. Like Gabby, if this is something that doesn't interest you, it is something that I am going to focus much more in my projects and in my things, because I feel it is important for me. And those that want to take that journey with me, you're of course welcome, and anybody's welcome, because people are always welcomed on my channel. But this might not be for everyone, and I want to be there for the people that want to take this journey. And I mean, there's so many different channels, and like, you know, like you guys kind of like um can resonate, like, you know, there's Olga's channels, Tiffany's channels, Ingrid's channel. There's so many different channels that you guys might resonate, and those people that resonate with this, that will actually want to use this as like their story, to tell their stories and to, you know, reflect on their lives, whether it is like, as I said, I don't want to use the word healing, because like it's coming out in a different way, then therefore that's what you choose. And if you don't want that, that's also good as well. We each choose our path and our journey. And we can choose whether or not we want to like do some, like create this way or not. I choose to create this way, and I want you guys to, if you're willing to take the journey with me, or if you want to take that journey with me, you're very, very welcome. Anyways, thank you so much. I love you guys all. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you all. I just want to show you the original one. And this was the original one. It's very similar. Okay. And this is the second one. So yeah, that is it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and have an amazing day, everyone. Bye.